gonna work. Let's try it again. There we go. Good morning, Besta. Can you hear me? Can you hear and see me okay? We are having some internet problems this morning. I am hoping that they have been resolved before we get into this live. We're just gonna have to wait and see. So if you're here, good morning. I'm just gonna see if I can't. There we go. Make the font a little bit bigger so I can see it on the computer. I went and I had my eyes checked yesterday. It's been like 8 years since I've had them checked, and no surprise, my prescription needs to be a little bit stronger. And the thing that really disappointed me about that was I was excited to get the pair eyewear that a lot of people are wearing, you know, where there's little magnets on your toppers and you can just like snap them onto your frame. Well, my prescription is a little bit too much for pair eyewear, but I did find a really cool pair of a frame that I think could pass as pair. Really, really cool. So I should have those new frames by our next Facebook Live. So keep your fingers crossed. I'm really excited. But I just want to say hello to Jasmine and Carol and Ann and Sharon. Good morning, everybody. So yeah, exciting changes. And I did get my hair cut finally. I found a really good stylist and a salon I really like, about an hour and 15 minutes from me. And to me, it's worth driving all the way back there to get it done. So, yeah, a lot of good things happened on my week off. I got to pet sit for the cutest 3 little fur babies. They're actually my cousin's fur children, and I got to spoil them for a week. So it was all good. So today, we're going to do a quilt block that I want to show you the way the quilter would piece this block together. And then I want to show you in my Cardmaker's mind, and where I can see that I can take some shortcuts. I'm going to show you how I figured it out in my brain. I'm not saying my way is the way that is, you know, the way it has to be done. But I just, you know, I looked at it and I'm like, how can we play with this? And you're going to like this quilt block, because once we can get into it enough that I can tell you what the mystery is, you're going to think of other blocks that are done this way. And, yeah, it'll be exciting. Maybe we could do several more. Or you'll figure it out once, you know, we do it today, and then, I don't know, we'll just have to see what happens. So, I'm going to flip the camera around, and as I do that, please say good morning to each other, and then we're going to get started on the mystery for today. Okay. Been 2 weeks, and already I can't remember where my widgets are on my phone. Oh. Okay. So now you should be okay, it flipped. Okay. Let's move the computer. Hi, Sue and Tony. Tony, thanks for sharing. Hi, Linda. Susan, Vesta, Carol, Jasmine, Ann. All right, now, this part might make you a little dizzy, so I'm going to try and move this slowly. I had to look around on my desk, make sure there wasn't any hints of the mystery. anywhere. And there's really not anything that I haven't already shared on Facebook as far as, you know, what I want you to prep. I want to come in just a little bit. There we go. Let's see how this looks on the laptop. Okay. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for sharing. Guess all my Lindas. Are all my Lindas here this morning? Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to do the card base first. That way, when we get the quilt block done, we can, you know, just stick it on there and call it good. I am using the Peace on Earth stamp set, and I'm using DSP from the suite that the Peace on Earth is in. And as far as my embellishments, I'm using the 2025, 2027 in color flat pearls, and I'm going to use the cloud cover pearls. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Mary. Thank you for being here. Let's set that over there. And let's bring in, I'm going to be using some Post-it notes when we get to the quilt block, at least one of the options. But let's bring in our trimmer. And I've got a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 cardstock in Secret Sea, which is my favorite color. And we're going to turn our card base so that the 11 inches is across the top. We're going to score it at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to move my card base to the right and come here at 2 3/4, which is half of 5 1/2. And we're going to score again. So we're going to create a Z-fold for our card base. And let's see, do I need to do, I'm going to get my trimmer out of the way, but we're going to need it again when we get to doing our blocks. Okay, so I'm just going to set that out of the way. So I'm going to fold my card base in half. I know, starting with the card base kind of prolongs the whole mystery thing, doesn't it? It's like you're gonna have to wait just a few minutes longer for your mystery quilt block, but it's fun. The anticipation is fun. Now, that score line that was at 2 3/4, so like if I'm opening my card this way, I'm going to fold this back on itself. I'm going to line up my corners just in case my score line isn't perfect. I'm going to crease it with my bone folder again, so I have that like Z thing going on. Okay, and I'm going to bring in my designer series paper. So this is was 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and then I had 2 pieces that were 1 inch by 4 1/4. What I love about this piece of the designer series paper is that if you want to have your birds like going in a not facing each other, if you cut this right down the center, then you can have your birds maybe going in one direction and one in the other. So I love that these are, and on the paper it's spaced pretty good, that I even got the 2 3/4, and it was pretty even. I had to take a little bit off, but I just love that I can cut these right down the middle And then my birds are, you know, can be flying off in different directions. Hi, Jill. Hi, Lori. Okay. Kathy, you shared 2 times? Yay. Okay. So let's get out our glue. Now, when we lay out our card base, this piece here is going to go right inside this panel. Now, you will probably have to shave a little bit off the side that's 4 1/4 because you've got these creases and you don't want to get your designer series paper into that crease. So shave a little bit off, whichever side works better. And to make sure I keep it out of this crease here, I'm going to favor putting it over to the left a little bit more, because then I know I'm not going to get it caught in that crease. So that one's going to go right there, and it's not getting caught in the crease right there. And then I am going to take one of my 1-inch pieces, and I don't want this bird going the same way as that one, so I switched them around. But this one's going to go along the side, the inside of my card, and it's going to go the full length of my cardstock. Not messing around with keeping, you know, a border on anything. And then the other 1-inch is going to go on this side of my Z-fold. Okay, so it looks like this. And then I've got a 4 by 4 1/4. So this is not square. So you're going to want to make sure, because I want to fit it right inside this space here. So you wouldn't want to put it this way because it would go edge to edge. This time we are leaving a little bit of a border around the basic white. But before I glue that in there, believe it or not, I'm going to do some stamping on camera, which terrifies me. Okay, so I'm going to put heartfelt prayers on the inside, because the little message on the outside or the front of my card is going to say sending love, and then heartfelt prayers. And so we're going to just kind of, hopefully I can do this and not be too wonky. Okay, I'm happy. It's a little crooked, you guys, but you know, I'm taking the little wins because it terrifies me to stamp live. I'm always worried about whether I'm crooked or not. So I've got heartfelt prayers, and I'm going to put that in that open space. Our card base is going together really quickly. Okay, this isn't so hard that we have to spend a lot of time with this, our card, but we did manage to get a fun fold in there by putting it as a Z fold, right? So I'm going to flip it over, and while I've got my glue out, I'm going to put my button on the back. I'm going to sign my quilt card. Okay. And we can, for right now, put this away. We are going to put that away. And let's get to the fun stuff, because you want to know what this mystery quilt block is all about. Hey, Brenda, I was just thinking about you this morning. I'm going to have to call you because remember when we talked the last time on the phone, I can't read my notes. So I need to talk to you, whether it's today or another day. I was thinking about you because I need to talk to you. Okay, let's bring in option 1. That's option 2. So option 1, this is the quilter's way to do this block. I need a 4-inch square foundation, and I used, you know, the backings you get with your 6x6 designer series paper or your 12x12. This is thin enough that instead of throwing it away, I'm going to use it as my foundation. So that's the foundation. And then DSP number 1 is from the Peaceful Garden designer series paper. And it's got the white with like, I don't know if it's basic beige through it. And then another 4-inch square of, this is in crumb cake. So these are we only are using 2 colors. And that's got to be exciting so that you don't have to pull so many different pieces of designer series paper. We're working with 2. You just want to make sure that they have contrast, okay? Hey, Tina, hello. Take your DSP number 2, bring in your trimmer, Now, really easy peasy cutting, okay? You're going to take this 4-inch square and you're going to cut it diagonally in both directions for a total of 4 quarter square triangles. Okay, whoops, wrong blade. Let's bring this one up. So we're cutting it diagonally, which to get your second cut, you would put the long piece across the top. So don't think you have to match it all up. Just take each of those halves, put them in your trimmer with the peak of your triangle in the cutting track. And now if we were to put this back together, it would look like what I just drew here. So you would have your diagonal cut. Okay? So you're only going to need 2 of these with this option, which, oh darn, you're going to have to make another quilt block, but I don't think that's anything that's going to be disappointing. So we're going to use 2 out of the 4 on that. I'm going to put that over there, and that is it for right now. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring in, whoops, that says option, hold on, where's my other one? I want to make sure that I can follow my notes here. Okay, here's DSP number 1. It's a 4-inch square. We're not going to do any cutting on this. You're going to take 2 of these triangles and you're going to glue one. It's kind of got a blunt end to it. We're going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. Play with them first. Oh, I know what it is. It hit white right on the tip when I cut that. I was thinking, I'm not short. There we go. What you want to see is like it creates two triangles here. You just want to make sure that your points are getting pretty close to each other right there in the center. Okay, so I'm going to put these two to the side and work on another block after the live. And now I'm just going to glue these triangles to DSP number 1. Just going to put my points evened out in the corners there. I'm not going to push it all the way down, just in case I need to move something around. And here I'm just going to turn it so I can see the edge, get my points in the corners. And they're lining up pretty good there in the center. It's not perfect, but by no means is it saying that I have to start over. Okay. So here we have what looks like an hourglass. Okay, don't get rid of your foundation just yet. Now we're going to bring in some post-it notes, because we're going to chop this up. Okay, so bring in your trimmer, and what you're going to do is we are going to cut 1 inch off all 4 sides. Now I'm going to use the 1 inch on the right side of my throat plate here on my trimmer so that I can keep the bulk of this laying flat. So I'm going to put my quilt block in. I've got 1 inch over here, and I'm going to cut it. Now, what I want to do, because I'd like to keep this all together, I'm going to put a post-it note towards the top here, because when I turn this block to cut it again, I want to keep those pieces together. Because believe me, if you do this all and then try to put it back together, it might be a little confusing. So I've turned it. I'm going to cut it 1 inch again. I'm going to bring in another post-it note because I don't want it moving on me. Keep that together. Oh, and now this side moved too. Okay. Well, this might be easy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in a little post-it note. It's going to go right there to hold that. And then I'm going to put this back at 1 inch. I'm going to move my papers around so that I can see where I'm cutting. Let's use the little post-it notes. Let's see if we can't get all of that right there. Let's turn it. Oh, that little white one, that corner wants to move. But please just stay together, you guys, because that way it makes figuring out how you go back together easy. Okay. I'm going to have to take... Oh, darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Okay. You'll appreciate option 2. Everybody, you will appreciate option 2. Okay, let's cut this last one. Okay, and now I want to put it to where I'm going to use my post-it notes again so that I can pick this up. If you guys know of an easier way, please tell me. Those go together like that. That'll keep that together. And then let's keep all of this together. And let's see if I can't keep this together. Gosh, I feel like I've done surgery on my quilt block. Okay, I'm going to see now here I can take it out. It's all in one piece. And I'm going to carefully remove my Post-its. Whoops. I know you go there. I'm going to take you off. And I'm going to take you off. Okay. I can see this enough that I can put this back together like this. This one goes over here. This goes here. Nope, that don't go there. Doesn't go there. It goes like that. And that goes like that. Okay? So what we're doing is we're going to make this hourglass, we're going to make it disappear. So this is the disappearing hourglass block. You've heard of you may have heard of disappearing 9 patch, disappearing 4 patch quilt blocks. And what we're going to do is I'm going to separate these just a little bit. Okay. We are not going to turn our 1 inch by 2 inch pieces that are on the middle, top and bottom, middle sides. We're not going to touch those. What we're going to do first is we're going to take this 2 inch square in the center and we're going to rotate it 1 time. So now we have our light background with next to our contrasting designer series paper. And then you're going to take each of your 1 inch squares that are in the corners and you're going to turn them 1 time. We're going to turn it this way 1 time. Okay, this way. 1 time. Hold it. Maybe 2 times on that one. What I'm looking for, I went the wrong way. Like this. Okay. Right? Where's my card? Oh, I knew this was going to get confusing. Where is my card? What did I do with them? I hid them from you guys so that you couldn't see them. Oh, here they are. Okay. Here's my card. And this happens to be the opposite one. So I want this one to go like this. This one to go like that. That one's right and that one's right. Okay. So it should be that you should have your designer series paper, like this is number 1 touching number 2, 2 touches number 1, so that it's like they separate each other. The colors separate each other. Okay, so that's our disappearing hourglass. Now, the quilter's way is you would sew all of these. You might sew these together, this together, and then, you know, piece them back together. What we're going to do is we're going to take our foundation piece, and what you would do is now you've got to glue all of these pieces back together onto this square here. So you could glue them back together one row at a time. Okay, and make sure that your seams are butted up to each other. Now I'm just going to walk you through this one because this is a lot. You would glue that there, this here. So you've got your X. You've got your X. And you're going to want to make sure that you're lining everything back up. That's a lot of work. It's fun. I mean, if you like putting puzzles together and you like doing all of these steps so that you feel that like in the quilter's way you've done it, this is great. This works. It's a little thicker because you had to have that foundation piece to glue your individual pieces to. But by the time you quilt that through your embossing folder, it helps like flatten things out, and it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I am going to keep this all together because I am going to finish this block. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just got a little bit more work to do. And I want to show you how to do the shortcut. Okay? So let's bring in so to do it with option 1, we needed 3 pieces to start out with, right? Option 2, you don't need a foundation piece. You just need your 4-inch square. Okay. You need your 4-inch square. And you need a 2x4 piece of your designer series paper number 2. Okay. Now what we're going to do, the only one we're going to cut is the 2x4. So bring in your trimmer, put your 4-inch side along the top, cut off a 2-inch square. Okay. Take that 2-inch square and cut 4 triangles. So put it on point, cut it in half, and then cut each of these halves again. I cleaned my glass mat and everything is sliding that's on top of it. It is so smooth. It's like I can't get anything to sit still on that mat. So we've got 4 triangles. This other 2-inch square that's left, you're gonna cut it in half at 1 inch and have these 2 pieces right here. This is all we need to create the same quilt block we just did the quilter's way. To help keep me centered, I think what I need to do, I am going to draw a 1-inch line in pencil on all 4 sides because the pencil line is going to keep me straight. So I'm just going to line up my ruler, make sure I'm straight, or at least looks like it'll get me where I need to be in case I don't like necessarily trust my cutting. You could use your scoring blade to do this. But I'm just giving myself a 1-inch line all the way around. A 1-inch border. Okay. Just to help me with placement of my pieces. Okay. So here is my number 1. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to place my 2 bars here. And then as far as my triangles, okay, we got to cut. You're going to take 2 of these large ones. They're going to be, we're going to start in the center with our hourglass. Let's start here. We're going to have to cut these 2 in half again. So this 2-inch square that's in the center, I'm going to put 2 of my larger triangles. That's why drawing these lines, or even scoring them, is important. Okay, so there I've got my hourglass. Okay, now I can put my 2 rectangles on either side like that. I'll make sure that I'm out to the edge. Okay, put the other one on. Okay, so there's those. And then we need to bring our triangles back in, and we need to cut the last 2 in half one more time. These are going to be our triangles that are in the 4 corners. There's that one. That one. Okay. And so now our triangles, what we want to do is we want to follow this X that's going through our block there. So the longest side of your triangle should follow, like if there was an X through it, like that. Okay, see how this line is going to be creating that that X? So we can put this here. And then I think I'm gonna, so turn your block a quarter of a turn, and this one's gonna be in the bottom instead of the top, because we have to keep this line going right here. Any other, like most times I would have you going and putting that piece in the exact same place, you know, that whole muscle memory thing. But we need to keep our X. Okay, so we need to keep that. So if I turn it and I need to keep my X, I'm going to put this one this way. Remember, you want your designer series paper, it's a different designer series paper, like beige, white, beige, or I mean crumb cake, white, crumb cake, white, crumb cake, white. You know, it's got to be every other designer series paper. If you've got two of the same color that's meeting up to each other, then you've put something in the wrong spot. So I wouldn't want my crumb cake right next to my crumb cake rectangle. It started out like that. So then if I turn it again and this is white, then this is going to come down into this corner here. And I've got every other color when I go around. In my head, this was going to be so easy to teach, and I kind of lost it. So it was supposed to be like, oh, just clear as day that one option is easier than the other. I kind of made it maybe a little confusing. I apologize for that. I kind of just got off there. So this was the, this is our disappearing hourglass with only a 4-inch square and a 2x4. And then that other one that we did the first time, like the quilters way, that was 3 different pieces. You had a foundation piece, you had your square of your first designer series paper and a square, and then you chopped it all up, but you have to piece it all back together. So this is the easier way. It's the same block, but if you like going through the motions for the disappearing hourglass, there is nothing wrong with taking the long way, especially if you love like puzzles. But if you want to make it a little quicker, then you're going to do it the way we did it the second way. Okay? So just out of curiosity, would you do it the first way or the second way? I'm just kind of curious. I wanted to show you the shortcut. So, okay, Luann says she much prefers this other method. So, Jill, you're funny. Yes, I'm putting the Post-it notes to good use. I've got a mess over here though that I've got to clean up. Okay, so again, I'm gonna do this one later because I got to piece it all back together. Now it's gonna come to we need to quilt our quilt block. If you've got any noticeable pencil lines that you want to get out of there, you might want to do that now. Really, I don't think this is really going to bother me too much, but I'm going to take this line out of here. And the embossing folder that I'm going to use is the new, what's it called? We used it a couple weeks ago. The Beautiful Pattern. This now is available to everybody. Okay, the online exclusives for November 4th. Everybody could order them online. And there was some new kits that dropped also. What I love, again, see how we've got our diagonal lines in this folder? What I love is I can put this in here and I can kind of like find my middle. This will really tell you if you're straight or not. But I'm going to kind of line this up to where I've got 2 diamonds, right here on either side. But I think that this pattern with these diamond shapes really lend well to a quilt block that's got any kind of an angle to it. So I'm gonna sneak over and run this through the cut and emboss machine real quick. And then we've only got a couple more steps and our card's all done. Okay, so let's take this out. And I just love how subtle the quilting is in this. Now, this is the embossed side. You can see that the pattern is sitting on top of my paper. But if I flip it over, oh, you can't see it real well. The other side, the stitching or the pattern is sitting down into the paper, making it look like little stitches. So you just decide which one you like the most. And then we're going to bring in that 4 1/4 inch square of cardstock that's the same color as your card base. And we're going to layer this, and you are going to have a border on all 4 sides. Okay, so let's glue this down. Okay, so let's just kind of eyeball it and see if we've got an even border all the way around. It's hard for me to see with this so far away from me. I'm going to go with, oh wait, no. Let's move it this way a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to bring back in our card base. And we're going to attach this just to this part of the Z fold, okay? But what I want to do is I want to make sure that when I put it down, I've got an even amount of my my paper that's got the doves on it. And this is going to go all the way to the edge to edge. So I just want to make sure that I got that. Now, you could glue it. And if you were going to glue it, what I would do is hold this. Where's my pencil? Oh. That way I know that I only want glue on one side. I need to keep the other one free of glue because I don't want to glue it down to the inside of my card. So I like to draw a line, and then I know which side that I can put glue down and pretty much guarantee myself that I'm not going to glue my card shut. And if you've got a certain way you want your block to look, like with 2 colors, I mean, to me, this doesn't, I don't have anything directional. I don't have anything that I need to worry about that needs to go a certain way. So I'm fine with however this goes down. But when I flip it over, I want to make sure that there's only glue on this side. Now you can glue it, or one of the other cards that I did is I put dimensionals just in this panel here and just stuck it down with dimensionals and had a little, you know, a little 2D thing going on. Maybe I'll do that instead of gluing it down. Well, I started to show you how to glue it down, so let's just do this. I've got to make another one anyway with that other block, so I'll pop that one up. Remember, your glue goes over here, not over here. And then I'm just gonna, eyeball it so it's kind of even. Stand it up so that it's straight. Glue it down, make sure there's no glue underneath there. And so we have this Z-fold layout. And then to add another sentiment. And this little greenery here is from the bundle, the Peace on Earth bundle. And I'm just going to put some little tiny dots on the meatier part of the leaves. And I am going to just kind of have this stem following my seam line here. And then I've stamped Sending Love, which I put 2 different stamps on the one block so that I could ink it and stamp it all at once instead of trying to do it twice. Where's my dimensionals? Let's turn this over. Just going to use 3 dimensionals. And another thing I did with my square, this is a Stylish Shapes square die. What I'm going to look for is I'm going to look to line up this corner and this corner with the line that is following my quilt block. And I can make that as wide or as narrow as I want. So I popped it up so my greenery is sticking out from underneath my sentiment, and then I'm going to bring in those flat pearls. I'm going to use the cloud cover so I can bring in another color out of the Designer Series paper. And let's use a medium one. I'm going to use a medium one up here. I'm going to use a smaller one, like right there. And let's use a larger one, kind of like right there. So just bringing in my embellishments around my greenery. I wanted this to be kind of a clean and simple look because it is a prayer felt card. I wanted it to be calming and simple. I wanted my quilt block to do the talking and bring comfort to that person. So Sending Love, Heartfelt Prayers. And then I want to show you how this one is a sympathy card. So it's all the same. Now notice when I put my quilt block on, I've got my white up here at the top instead of the crumb cake. So it gives it just a different kind of look in a very subtle way. And put my greenery and my pearls. And then this one says with deepest sympathy. And then I had one more that I just have to put. Oh no, this one's done. Okay, here's another one, Sending Love. And it says, big hugs for a good friend. So these are all very beautiful sayings, all from the Peace on Earth stamp set. And this bundle, we're featuring this bundle in this weekend's Card Play online retreat. This is an online retreat that my upline Karen Titus does with the launch of every catalog. So Karen and Holly, myself, Barb and Julie, we put on an online retreat. We feature 12, each of us is doing 3. We all do the 2 cards with the featured suite or bundle, which is the Peaceful Garden or Peace on Earth. And then I take 2 other bundles. Each one of us takes 2 other bundles, and we make 2 cards per bundle to show you the new product that's in the catalog. It's too late to get the make and take packet, but if you're not doing anything this weekend, I'll post a link to the Google form where you can register with me. And starting at 5 p.m. Central on Friday night, and then all day Saturday, if you want to hang out with us and collect, I think, 24 PDFs with new projects and new layouts for your library, we'd love to have you. And the cost of it's $45, which is not bad if you break that down with how many PDFs that you're getting and 12 Facebook Lives and a lot of fun and all of that. So I will post that link if it's something sounds like you might want to do and you might want to hang out with us this weekend. So I would love to see what your disappearing hourglass quilt blocks look like. So you can share them in this, in the comments under this Facebook Live. But you could also join our community group called Quilt Cards and More, and share your cards there and get inspired by what other members of that community group have done. So I can't wait to see what you do. I hope you enjoyed the disappearing hourglass. I will work on a PDF, but I also have card play this whole weekend. So I wouldn't look for it before the weekend. But I will have a PDF that we can load into the files over in our community group. That way you can print it out and add it to your library and maybe do it later. Okay? So thank you for hanging with me this week. And I hope you enjoyed it. I know it got a little confusing there. Maybe I shouldn't have shown the quilters' way of doing it. Maybe we should have just gone right to this one here. But I wanted to bring in the quilting part of it because there's a lot of quilters that are doing that make cards too, and I just want it to feel like it's something that resonates with you. And maybe you haven't quilted for a long time, but it brought back memories of the piecing of all the fabric and everything. So I just hope that it brought you some joy to see the 2 ways to do this and how they tie in together, and we can do both. We can quilt and we can make cards. So again, thank you for hanging with me, and please share your cards, and I look forward to checking out what you guys have done today a little later in the afternoon. So thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Holly and Sue, Tony. Tony, I am just tickled to see that you got to be here all this whole hour and you didn't have to do something else. She's my Wonder Woman. I've never seen anybody handle so much on her plate as Tony does. So I'm just excited that she didn't have to skedaddle out of here and do something else. Deborah, oh, you're welcome. Oh, let's do a keyword. Let's do a keyword so I can give a couple of these away. Let's put Hourglass in the comments. So if you'd like a chance to win a card, use the keyword Hourglass, and we'll give a couple of these away. You're welcome, Anne. Susan, you like both versions. Yeah, I mean, you know, I like them both too. I like the puzzle piecing to the first option, It's just whatever you feel like going with. They both create a beautiful card. Okay, everybody, I'm going to let you go, and I'll be chatting with you later. Have a blessed day, everybody.